Good morning, everybody. This is Casey, by the way. So this is my Dalmatian Casey. She's obviously wants to be on TV this morning. So what I said yesterday was that I would go forward and just mention what New Zealand First plans and policies are with regard to special needs funding inside the primary sector. So there's quite a lot of things already in our 2014 manifesto, which you can find on our website, www.nzfirst.org.nz, and go to page 26 of that manifesto, and that starts you into education if you don't want to have to troll through everything else. The first thing we're going to do is actually strengthen the relationships between, so the transition from ECE and the supports flowing through from ECE into the mainstream schooling. So we need to support those transitions, and for those children who haven't been identified already, we're going to be strengthening the school entry data and the school entry testing and screening tests, so that again, if children blip up on those tests that there's areas of concern as they come through into the school, there'll be pathways after that to support. And so that's one of the first things we're going to do. We're going to review instantly, and that's been in the manifesto from 2014, possibly before that, 2011, review the funding model and the quantum of the budget to ensure equity and consistency with regard to children. And we want to immediately review the OARS funding levels with a view to increase it to 3%. Now, that is because 3% of the school population is the number of children that has been identified by the Ministry of Education as requiring special needs support. So how you identify, have your government department identify that 3% of the school population requires this sort of support and then not fund it, I don't really know. So that's one of the first things we're going to work at. I tried to find out the funding levels, the exact funding levels of OARS and the IWS, because they are from the same funding pool, over the last week, and that's actually been extremely difficult. The money's all over the place, so there's no clear picture really of the amount of funding that has been placed into that area, or not specifically. So that would be the first thing we would get our handle on, and as I say, look to increase it to 3%. I'm quite keen to make sure that there is choice for parents with special needs children, just the same way that there's choice for parents without special needs children. So from that perspective, I want everything available. New Zealand First wants everything available, and that will include special needs units inside a main school inside a cluster. And an example of a special needs unit that works is Mahirangi College, where as much as possible the students are integrated and work with their peers, their able-bodied peers, but when they need the extra support, the special needs unit is there, both for their physical support and for their academic support. And mainstream students come into the unit to work with their peers inside the unit as well. So that's one option, because I know families in this area at primary school level have had to ship their children out of the area so that they could continue their primary school education when there was a physical disability that couldn't be met inside the school. I'm also a great proponent for residential schools and special schools like Salisbury. I believe Salisbury and single-sex residential schools, co-ed residential schools, are an option that should be maintained for parents and students with these needs, with high needs. And the day schools also need to be supported. So New Zealand First would look to bring back true choice for the parents of for those children with special needs, as well as the opportunity for inclusion. So the dogs have decided to have a go. That's Oscar having a go at Casey. We're going to, the other thing that's inside the manifesto is the establishment of a national qualification and ongoing professional development for SENCOs. So that's been in the manifesto for a while, and we want to create a nationwide professional development and career pathway for teacher aides. And that came out of the inquiry as well, the opportunity for teacher aides, one, to have a career pathway, two, to make sure that there was, so they were recognised for the valuable work that they do, not just in their pay packet, which has to be addressed, but also with qualifications and recognition as they've been in that role for a number of years and supported a number of children. There's been a lot of conversation about initial teacher training, and initial teacher training appears to have a reasonable number of gaps in it, and coming out of the inquiry that we've just led and other inquiries, what's obvious is that there is not enough time spent on best practice of inclusion and just initial teacher training around recognition, but also the recognition that we need to have SENCOs, we need to have other professionals to support. The resource teacher of learning and behaviour changes may not have been the best thing in our view, in our experience. They haven't. So that needs to be re-looked at to make sure that there's the appropriate supports for the in-classroom teacher, so that the child is getting the best possible education that they can get inside whatever academic or schooling environment they choose and their parents choose for them. Now, those are just things that are currently in our manifesto. After the dyslexia, dyspraxia and autism spectrum inquiry, there's going to be recommendations coming from the opposition members, at least anyway, that will then be incorporated into New Zealand First Manifesto in 2017. So that's just a touch of the things that we've already placed in our manifesto, we've already campaigned on, and there will be more created over the next little while towards 2017. Have a good day, bye.